Hello,
Hi, welcome to Native Camp. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Good to hear that. I'm your coach. Let me introduce myself. My name is Omer.
Nice to meet you.
And your name is?
I'm Sawa.
Sawa. That's a beautiful name, Sawa. Where are you from?
I'm from Japan.
Oh, lovely. And which city in Japan?
My city is Fukuoka Prefecture, which is in the west side of Japan.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. How close or far are you from Tokyo, from the capital?
Yes, I think take you can take in 2 hours by plane from my hometown to Tokyo.
Okay. It's not that close.
Yeah,
So, what do you do for work?
I'm a journalist.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. And what kind of journalism? To do field reporting, behind the desk, sitting in the office?
Yeah, so I cover a lot of news and I broadcast the news program on TV.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh, so maybe I can find you on somewhere on YouTube.
No,
No?
my job is television, so
Sorry, once
I
again?
don't use. My job is my company is a television broadcasting company, so we can't use online services.
Okay, okay, I understand. But your job is to present the news, right? On the TV.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. And do you like your job?
yes, I do.
Is it stressful?
Sometimes because it's really demanding to pass people or cover a lot of negative news.
Oh, yeah, I can understand. Does that affect you emotionally sometimes when you have to talk about, really, when you have to break the bad news to the public?
Yeah.
Mm. I remember this incident a couple of months ago when unfortunately the former prime minister of Japan was shot and killed. So tell me, I'm sure you must have covered that incident. So how was that for you? When did you hear about it? How did you report that?
So actually, a video. Uh, we saw a video on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and we noticed the incidents. So actually, I think it was really shocked for many Japanese
I can
people because
imagine.
it's uncommon and it's really rare in Japan
Mm-hmm.
because the Japanese government ditched the use of gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So gun violence is a really uncommon in Japan. And also EX Prime Minister
Mm-hmm.
was dead. So
Correct,
I
correct.
think it was really, yeah, shocked.
Yeah, it turned out to be really, really negative news, and especially coming out of Japan for the rest of the world. As I live in Poland, I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, no, that can't be possible. First of all, it's nearly impossible to buy a gun in Japan. I know that the rules and regulations are really strict. Um, so, as a citizen of Japan, how do you think about it? What do you think about it? And what can be done to prevent such incidents from happening in the future?
So, for example, we have to strengthen the security services. So actually, there are a lot of SPs. I think the police system is a little bit weak So actually, it's really uncommon of gun violences. So that's why the guard was really weak. So that's why the ex-prime minister was killed by a man. So yeah, we have to learn how to strengthen our police services or guard services.
Very good, very good. That was a nice response. And personally, for me, what I really dislike about the news is when something like that happens, all of the media just focuses on that one issue, and they just kind of blindside everything else. Whatever the ongoing issue was, people just put it in the back and they forget about it. And same is the case with this story. After that news, we don't know what happened to this culprit. Was he punished? Was he captured? Did he get a sentence? 10 years in prison, 50 years in prison. So there was no follow up on that story. What do you think about that?
Yes, I understand your opinion, but I think it's really impossible to cover all of news. And actually, there are always, new, news always happened. News always happen anywhere and anytime. So actually, we have to cover news, the latest news. So I think there is no jobs. There is no job to output to offer everything. So it's really difficult to offer everything. So actually, so that's why many business focus on one thing and focus on, expertise, more expertise. So yes, yeah,
Oh my
yes.
gosh, I totally understand. And what you're saying, it actually makes sense, because when there is an incident like that, that's what's selling, and everyone wants to get the piece of the pie. Okay, I have a different question in my mind while you were responding. I thought about it. I'd love to ask you, how was it during the pandemic? How was it covering the news? With all the restrictions and everything, do you remember? I mean, it's not that long ago, but how did that change or affect your work life and your personal life?
So as a journalist, so yeah, it was a little bit difficult to cover people because we always interview people face to face. But during the pandemic, we couldn't do that.
Right.
So actually, our job was restricted by the situation, but also everyone was restricted by, yeah. So, but thanks to the pandemic, I think we realized a lot of important things. For example, medical services were really important to protect many people's lives. So that's why we covered a lot of situation in hospitals and so on. So thanks to that, we could understand the, job of doctors and nurses, and we could convey the situation to viewers. So that's why viewers also understood the job of doctors. so we could appreciate the doctors and the nurses. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
That must have been really tough, and I would like to ask you, as a journalist, how important is it for you to be neutral, not to take the sides, and how not to have your personal opinions affect your journalism?
So I think it's really difficult to be, neutral because we are human beings. So everyone has emotion. So we are totally affected by our emotion. But so, but as a journalist, we have to be neutral. So that's why sometimes I, I was, I always view a lot of situation objectively.
Very good.
Yeah. Buzz eyes. Yeah. Buzz view. So,
That's a very good answer. That was fantastic answer. Very good English. Okay, let's talk about what's trending in Japan these days. Maybe you would like to tell me what's the hot news these days. What are people talking about?
so these days, there are some disaster like typhoon,
Oh,
typhoon and the flood.
wow.
So, yeah,
I hope you're in
they
a
were,
safe place.
yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, is it like really a difficult situation? Are there any casualties? The destruction? What's the how much is it going to cost the government?
So the Japanese government decided to subsidize for areas which were suffering from, a big damage. So, but recently, I think there are a lot of disaster which we had not expected. So there are a lot of huge disaster, I think, occurred in around the world. So yeah.
So the government, the current government, was it prepared for this? I mean, you can never prepare enough for natural disasters, but since Japan, its location is as such that you need to be prepared for typhoons, for earthquakes. So in this case, was it well handled by the government, by the local government, in terms of relief issues, supplying emergency services and so on?
Yeah. So the Japanese government and also local government have to prepare for unexpected disaster. But I think the Japanese system is really great. So that's why recently we can predict disaster and we can expect, we can evacuate from areas which will be suffered from big disaster. But I think it's really difficult for many elderly to evacuate from areas. And also many people don't want to evacuate from their houses. So that's why I think some people was killed by disaster. So I think it's really difficult to pursue people to evacuate from areas. So even though the government warned
Mm-hmm.
the disaster, but some people would not evacuate. Evacuate.
Yes, that's a challenge, for the people, for the government as well. I see you're here and you're learning, you're trying to improve your English. Have you ever had an experience of cross-border collaboration with international journalists, working on a story together, maybe with big news agencies like BBC or CNN?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Would you like to in the future for work for such organizations?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
if I had a opportunity.
All right. Well, I think your English is beautiful, so you can try for that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. So, uh, what's the Japanese people's opinion about people in your profession? Are they very well paid, very well respected, very powerful, very influential? What do you think?
So recently, many younger people don't watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I think journalists. So I think there are a lot of jobs, and recently we can choose a variety of jobs.
Mm.
So that's why actually many people don't choose the job of TV and a journalist
Why is
as a
that?
journalist.
Why is that?
I, I think in Japan, uh, journalists are relatively great paid,
Well paid,
uh,
you're saying.
well paid.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yes, well paid, but it's not so high. So high salary.
Uh-huh.
So, but so yeah,
So
I'm sorry. I think, and also many people don't like media industry. I think it's not only Japan but also the world,
around the world, yes,
around the world.
you need
Yeah.
to be a very typical kind of a person with very specific skills and qualities in order to work in media industry. I know that it's not for me. I'm kind of a shy person, and to be in front of the camera, it makes me nervous. So, are you a shy person, or you take camera well, or like, was it a difficult struggle for you to get used to of this, or no?
So I got used to be in front of cameras, but I don't like that. So yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, the next question, since you mentioned a lot of young people, they're not watching the TV these days. So, with the rise of digital media, like you also mentioned at the beginning of this lesson, that you heard about this prime minister issue through Twitter. So your news media group was lacking behind. So the question is, with the rise of the digital media, how do you think the landscape of journalism is evolving in Japan in terms of opportunities and challenges that it presents?
So thanks to social medias, many people, not only journalists, but also ordinary people, ordinary individuals, can convey some information, and also they can communicate with a lot of people in order to show their opinions about some news and so on. So yeah, I think it's easier to convey a lot of news as a journalist. But due to the social medias, there are a lot of fake news.
That's
So
true.
yes,
That's true.
so yeah, it's really difficult.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
agree. And this was Donald Trump's favorite word: fake news, fake news. He was saying it to all like BBC or CNN or major media groups. How long have you been working in this media and news industry?
I've been in this business for about 10 years.
Wow, that's a long time, almost a decade. So you
Yeah.
must be very senior, high up in the hierarchy. So here is the perfect question for you. What advice would you give as an expert having 10 years of experience to the young people who want to join this industry? What advice do you have?
So it's a very simple. You should have a passion.
Mm,
So if you have a great passion, you can overcome a lot of difficulties and a lot of your, yeah. So it's really important. Even, yes, I think, yeah, journalists' jobs
mm-hmm,
is not, easy game, difficult art.
mm-hmm,
So, yeah. So if you don't have a passion, I think it's really demanding.
mm-hmm.
So just passion will help you to continue your job or to contribute to the society.
Very nice. That was a beautiful answer. Very good. Do you consider yourself as a successful professional?
No, I don't think so.
Why is that?
And I think I think success or failure is just a view of people. So
Mm,
there is no success and failure. Failure.
well done. Very good.
So yeah, if you, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that was a very, very nice answer. So you think of it is like a process. There is no end, there's no beginning, there's no up, there's no down. It's just as long as you love and enjoy, you're
Mm.
successful. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a very nice way of looking at things. It's a very positive way of looking at things. Okay, that's really nice. Um, even when we've talked too much about journalism, I would like to know more about you. I know you work a lot, and journalism is such a demanding occupation. But what do you do in your free time? What are your hobbies as a person? Friends? What kind of movies do you like?
So I like I like to sleep a lot, and also I like to eat out with my friends and my family members, and I
Okay.
like pets like
Oh,
dogs.
I
So
love dogs. So we have one thing in common.
yeah, and but I recently I'm really keen on studying English, so
Very
that's
good.
why I always read a lot of news articles of world.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And
Yeah,
and this is you're doing it because of work, or is this your personal hobby and passion to improve your English?
I want to do an MBA, so Master of Business Administration. So I want to
Oh.
enroll the business school. So
Oh
that's why I
wow.
always study English.
Fantastic. That's a great goal. I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. All right, we only have like a minute left. Let me share my notepad comments with you. I mean, most of it was absolutely brilliant. I really loved the flow of your conversation. The pronunciation is very clear, it's understandable. I just picked up only a few words that I would like to share with you to improve. So, here is a list. I could find some grammatical problems, like you see towards the end. You said recently many younger people, whenever we use the word currently, recently, nowadays, it has to be in present continuous tense. So you used present simple tense there. This is a bit technical. In English, we don't really use the word bureaus that much. Offices are more preferred. Then we had the word you said strength. Strength is a noun. The adjective would be strengthen. Strengthen. And just like that. Anyways, 10 seconds left. Any questions for me?
No.
I hope
Thank
you
you very
enjoyed
much.
the lesson. Thank you. See you again.